Midwest. If you've never been to the Midwest, here's what it's like in a nutshell. I'll save you a trip. I used to have a house in Cleveland, where I'm from, and I got a letter once from my city inspector that said that the address on my house was too small, and if I don't get bigger numbers, I'd get a fine. But it didn't say how big the numbers needed to be. So I called him up, and I'm like, well, how big do the numbers need to be? And he goes, well, man, you want the fire department to find your house in case of an emergency, wouldn't you? I was like, yeah, wouldn't they be looking for the fire? At that point, it scared the hell out of me. I love firemen, man. They're hot. They look like they're just so strong and they're going to save your ass. And now I just picture them driving around Cleveland like, we can't find the house again. And we see one burning, but we can't quite make out the number. Smoke. You know what? Forget it. We're coming back to the station. So, you ever, when you go home, do you ever drive around your old neighborhood, you know, for nostalgia purposes? You're like, oh, like, that shit's still there. You know, where I'm from, it's like, that shit is still there. That needs to come down. That should be condemned. And it's a safety hazard. One thing was different, though. When I went home the last time, the Old Country Time buffet restaurant was converted to a funeral parlor. Yeah, that was lovely. And they didn't change anything but the sign. Like, it looked like a buffet funeral parlor. No, it's really nice. I went in, they put the casket on ice in the middle, like the centerpiece, and then just put the food right around that. Saves everyone time. They call it wake and bake. It's $9.99, all you can mourn. I'll keep going. Is that comfortable? Yeah, I'm really gonna hate the next one then. So no, I went home to visit my mother. She was getting chemo. We're lucky. She's doing really good. She's fine. But you know, it's amazing to me what people say to you, how rude people can be. You ever share something personal with someone, you know, and then they say something ridiculous back to you? I was getting my hair did. And I was like mid-dye, and I didn't know this woman. And she's like, oh, what are you doing back in Ohio? And I said, oh, well, my mom's getting chemo. I kind of wanted to be there for it. And she goes, oh, does she have to have radiation? And I said, yeah, she does, but we'll zap it, we'll kill it. She's a survivor, we'll be fine. And she is, you know, and she goes, okay, well, I just want you to be prepared. Because one of my clients, she had radiation and her face was burned. Yeah, like when she walked in, I didn't even recognize her. It was like she was in a fire. Her face was burned. It was like crusty and burned. I'm like, fuck up. Who says that to somebody? I remember, oh, your mom has cancer. It's going to be horrible. Just so you know. No one, you know, I could never say that to somebody. And I was like mid-day. I kind of wanted to clock her, but you know what I mean? You can't. There's nothing I could do. And I would never. And then later she was telling me how she's 37 and having her first baby and she's a little nervous. Because, you know, after 35 a woman has to take special precautions. And I said, well, I'm sure it'll be retarded. Happy works at all. That's good. But, you know, there's programs for that, just so you're prepared. It'll be fine. Say the ladies. You know, here's what I love about that song. All the women love it and the men hate it because they don't listen. So all they hear is, put a ring on it, and we're all a bunch of whores. Like that's what they think when they hear that song. But if you listen to the lyrics, he had 3 good years, you know. You know, he decided he wanted to trip and dip and get out, you know, and he bounced. And, you know, so she's like, forget it, dude. Some other dude likes me, quit being mad about it. But all the guys here is like, see, you're all a bunch of whores. You just put a ring. You're just not listening. That's why you're alone. Big Stiggle's funny. You know what? I'm not judging people who meet online. I think that's awesome. I think however you find love is a beautiful thing, so I'm not hating on it. But it bothers me a little because it takes the romance out of stuff. Like, it's nice that guys are checking more than just their fantasy football scores online. You know, they're also checking for bitches, which is nice. They're looking for love. But, you know, what happened to, like, you know, no one ever needed that before. People didn't need a PC to hook up. They had a P and a C, and they hooked that up, and nice to meet you.